Moin Moin and welcome. This is Donnertom and a video for World of Warships and the new upcoming Operation Dynamo. Operation Dynamo will be introduced with version 0.6.8 and it's a little bit unique. It stands out compared to other operations or actually even to other gameplay and the rest of the game. And I want to show you in what way it is unique and how you can not only win it, but also win it with achieving 5 stars. That means that you fulfill all secondary objectives. So, what's new? Well, all units actually in this operation are new. The ships that you will be able to play yourself, the convoy ships that you have to protect, the attacking units, planes and ships, everything is new and has not been seen in the game before. We'll start off with your own 2 ships that you can play. We received on the public test server 2 Tier 5 destroyers, each with a 15-point captain. The first destroyer is British Anthony. And the second one is a French destroyer, hello, and it's called Cyclone. At least I hope it's called Cyclone. At this point a disclaimer is due. This is a public test server version, and of course the real Operation Dynamo can be a little different when it hits the live server. Both destroyers are pretty much even in a lot of things, or let's say the differences are neglectable. I will just try to point out the differences in a nutshell. The Anthony's purpose is to kill as many of the torpedo boats incoming, and in the game they're called Schnellboats, which is German for fast boat. And the Cyclone has smoke, so it can cover up the convoy, and has also slightly better AA, so actually it should be able to take down more planes than the Anthony. Now this last issue with the planes can lead to some discussion and was quite confusing, I think, for many people playing on the test server this operation, because actually the Anthony has a slot for defensive AA fire, while the Cyclone there has the smoke. And everybody in the beginning thought, okay, we have defensive AA, so Anthony is also there to take down the plane, and what is the Cyclone actually going to do? Just driving along with the convoy, smoking it up. Very boring. No, I found the Cyclone tons of fun actually. As I said, AA is slightly better than on the Anthony, and therefore you should be able to take down a lot more planes. And of course also you have the guns. However, your reload time is twice the amount of that of the Anthony. And that's why the Anthony is destined to deal with the torpedo boats a lot more than you, and you are destined to deal with the planes a lot more. But of course that doesn't mean that with the Cyclone you should not be able to shoot torpedo boats, and with the Anthony you should not be able to gun down some of the planes. On the test server we received 15-point captains, as mentioned already, and since these ships are only to be used for Operation Dynamo so far, it's worthwhile speccing the captains exactly for that operation, and that's why we can take a small look at the captain skills that I recommend. Here it is. What I consider a must-have, because you have to gun down a lot of planes, get basic fire training and advanced fire training to extend the range and also the firepower of your AA. I recommend to get expert marksmen to be able to switch the turrets a lot faster between port and starboard. And also, and that might be a little bit unusual, because Cyclone has the smoke, take this extended smoke expert. I'm actually not even sure what it's called. That increases your radius of your smoke screen by 20% and the diameter of course by 40%, and that is just giving enough width of your smoke screen to be able to cover up the whole convoy with only you dropping smoke. This is the recommended build for the Anthony. It's almost the same, except for the smoke, which you don't have on this ship, so take Adrenaline Rush instead. And if you get damaged, then you can shoot even faster. On the test server, there was one player who wanted to spec even more into AA, and he used this advanced or manual AA fire control. But that's of course absolutely useless, because your caliber of your AA guns is just too small and is not affected by this skill at all. So this is just a waste of 4 points. Okay, time for some gameplay. You can see there is exactly 7 players participating on this particular mission, and that's more or less the overview of the map. Down below is Dunkirk, and up above in the top left corner is Dover. Your primary mission is to evacuate 3,000 soldiers from Dunkirk and transport them to Dover.
Battle starts. Attention captains, ensure the safety of the convoy ships. Evacuate Allied troops from Dunkirk.
Well, you heard the man. So, besides the 7 players, human players that you have, there is the convoy on the right hand side from my current position. A bunch of lovely modeled ships, most of them rather small, some passenger ships, and all of you will have to head for this evacuation area first, which is marked there in this white circle ahead of us. And above the white circle you see shimmering number 20,000. That is how many soldiers there are currently in that area to be evacuated, and once you get there, this number will decrease. You start at the end of the convoy usually, but you have to head to the front of it, because you see the 2 fighter squadrons hovering there. This is your first task. Shoot them down as fast as possible. They are spotting, and upon their spotting, the land batteries will fire upon you. So take down these fighters as fast as possible. Best to do this from the front. You might want to consider using your first speed boost for that. I have already dropped my first smoke as well, against the shore battery fire, that the convoy does not take any unnecessary hits. Maybe just briefly you could see my smoke circles, they come here again, and the normal smoke circles. That's the captain skill on level 2, this 40% increased diameter of smoke. This is how much difference it actually makes. So please use that captain skill on the civilan. As we progress into the evacuation area, the circle indicating it turns green. That shows that we actually evacuate soldiers now. In order to be able to do so, you have to go maximum a quarter speed ahead. But you don't have to be completely stopped in the water. A quarter ahead is good enough, and then you have this little indicator in the center of the screen showing you that you can take on maximum of 500 soldiers at this point. This will later increase to 750 while you're en route to Dover. Holy Moses, what was that? That was Captain Parks and his Goliath. That is scripted. There's nothing you can do about it. He's always driving into the minefield right there. Don't follow him, don't chase him. Concentrate on the dive bombers instead, the wave that is coming. And there now you can see first time appearing these Schnellboats, or Schnellboote as correct German plural would be. So while you try to shoot down more of the planes, you can already start to focus on the Schnellboote. The maximum range of the AA is 2.6 kilometers. It's not a lot, it doesn't sound like a lot, but you're really in a universe of your own here. Don't compare it to the standards that you're used to up so far in ranked battles, random battles, even in other operations. Here, this is a universe on its own. The planes are only at tier 1, so your very weak AA can still shoot down a lot of them. You should be able to shoot down 20, 30, in a civilan maybe even 40 to 50 planes. Here you can see how to deal with these Schnellboots. On a civilan with your bad rate of fire, I would recommend to use only one shot at a time. And they usually need only 2 hits, and this way you can sink them rather fast. So only shoot one, don't shoot full salvos, because then you have to wait, of course, almost 10 seconds for a reload. If you only shoot one by one, you can shoot, let's say, every 2.5 seconds. Another set of fighter squad coming in, and this is very important that you kill all of those, because killing a certain amount of fighter squadrons, I mean really squadrons, not planes, that is one of the secondary objectives. And let's take a break right here and have a close look at your primary task and the secondary tasks. As already mentioned, primarily you have to take care that you evacuate at least 3,000 soldiers from Dunkirk and bring them over to Dover. There is also a big white circle. You have to get your ship inside, slow down, and then they can disembark there. And as soon as you have reached the threshold of 3,000 soldiers, the game is going to end. The secondary tasks are then to destroy 8 fighter squadrons, to shoot down at least 80 dive and torpedo bombers, save not only 3,000 but 5,000 soldiers, save at least 6 of your civil ships, as you can see in brackets. Currently we still have 10 alive, and sink torpedo boats 25. To get back to the planes, as you can see, destroy 8 fighter squadrons. Really important. These are complete squadrons that you have to destroy. If one plane of the squadron survives and gets back to base, it doesn't count. You have to destroy the entire squadron. That's very important. With the dive and torpedo bombers, it's different. There, each plane that you take down counts. Of course, that is the reason why you should spec your ships to AA, use BFT and AFT with the captains, and take the range module in the upgrades. Because otherwise you will struggle to take down 8 fighter squadrons and 80 dive bomber and torpedo bomber planes. As for the task of saving 5,000 soldiers, please note, as soon as 3,000 soldiers have disembarked at Dover, the rest of the soldiers on the remaining ships are counted, and if that is more than 5,000, you fulfill that secondary task. So that one is rather easy to achieve. To kill 25 torpedo boats is also not difficult, because they come aplenty, much more than the 25 required, and you have to take them out of the game anyway, because they pose a huge threat to you and your civil ships that you have to protect, so this should be achievable as well. And remaining are the 6 civil ships that you have to save. And how to do that, what to take care of, we will see in the gameplay footage. If you've never done this operation before, it might also be helpful to know actually where your convoy is going, which route it's taking. You start just south of the big red minefield and west to the port of Dunkirk. First you will head to the evacuation area at Dunkirk, pick up the surviving soldiers there. Then the convoy will take a route to the northeast along the minefield. When it reaches the corner, it will turn to the northwest along the minefield, and then through the narrow channel of the 2 minefields, which has been cleared by your minesweepers for you, north, and then straight to Dover. There you will of course disembark the surviving soldiers. Okay, back to the game. Have a look, already 2 of the destroyers are missing. What happened there? One got hit by the Schnellboot torpedoes and one drove into the minefield. And I really don't need to point it out that this is a cardinal mistake to get killed so early in the game, because you need all the firepower for the end game, where it's like fighting the end boss, where the enemy throws everything at you that they have, and if you die so early in the game, that really blows the chances of your teammates to get the 5 stars. Okay. At this time, when the convoy is on this northeasterly course, are coming a first wave of dive bombers. These are 4 squadrons, and position yourselves where I am, together with a couple of other destroyers, to be able to shoot down as many dive bombers as possible before they actually drop anything. And you can see here I shot down first squadron, only 1 plane left, second squadron, also 1 plane left, and they missed both of them. Make no mistakes, these dive bombers are usually pretty accurate. If you venture out by yourself and the dive bombers are coming for you, they will hit every single time. After the dive bombers come Schnellboote, 3 of them now. 3 of them will spawn a little bit to the north of them, but they're coming definitely from the east. And since you're already here, it should be not difficult to take care of them. But there should be at least a couple of Anthonys here and 1 Cyclone that is coming the next wave of Schnellboote appearing. Again, try to use single shots on the Cyclone. With the Anthony, it doesn't matter, you can fire full broadsides if you like. When the Schnellboote are coming close enough, they will fire the torps. They will always fire 2 torps, and they will always go out to the forward. They cannot fire to the side, only to the forward. So it's pretty easy to calculate where they will torpedo in which direction. Usually also they turn afterwards, and you see you can take them out fairly easily. You could drop smoke here. It's always wise to have at least 1 Cyclone a little bit ahead of the convoy, and maybe 1 more Cyclone in the middle of the convoy to be able to smoke the entire convoy. And the Anthonys should be at this part more on the eastern side of the convoy, because this is where all the Schnellboote are coming from. Again, spotting fighter planes, if you can shoot that down, that helps with your secondary objectives. With the planes, there are actually 2 types of planes, not bombers and fighters, but there are planes which are scripted to really follow a flight path. They will circle above you no matter what. And there are planes that are scripted to attack vessels, and the easier and that reads, the more lonely a vessel is, the higher the chances that they will be attacked. So it is not a good idea, if you want to meet your secondary objectives, to stick out of the convoy like this Cyclone does here at the east and at the back of the convoy, and try to fight planes by yourself. These are actually scripted planes. They will fly a certain path, these torpedo bombers. Some of them will come from the east, and some of them will go around and try to come from the west and torp your convoy from there. But some of the planes are also scripted to attack a lonesome destroyer, and those planes cannot be killed so easily, only by 1 destroyer, and therefore it's much harder for you to meet your secondary objectives. Have a look here when we enter the narrow channel. Be at the front of your convoy with your Cyclone, if you have a Cyclone, and smoke up your convoy, and see how this smoke expert is helping now with this 40% increased diameter to be able to cover my entire convoy. And the the torpedo bombers actually are having a hard time trying to find a target which to attack. And you can see that the foremost ship of the convoy leaves the smoke, and that is exactly the time where the torp bombers start to make their attack vector, and then they will start to torp them. just below to the small minefield in the east. Some Schnellboote were spawning, and therefore it's a good idea to have at least one Anthony in the back, because there will be also coming a few more Schnellboote. Not too many. It should be able for one good Anthony to take out these Schnellboote before they actually do any damage. So one should be in the back. The Cyclone there does not make too much sense because you need to be able to smoke up and destroy planes, and this is not the best position for that. Okay, the next threats will be Schnellboote again, and they will come now pretty close to where I am from the forward. In this case, they're coming from the north, directly into that small channel, but they can also come from the west and more from the east. So here is a bit of randomness in the script, where these Schnellboote actually spawn, but you see it's a wave of 6 in total. And if you're so far ahead of the game, so far ahead of the convoy, then you can take the first 3, and you should be able to take them out, even in a Cyclone with its awful rate of fire. Boy, did I hear many complaints about the Cyclone that it doesn't bring anything to the table and you cannot do anything with it. Unbelievable. Alright, and if you have some decent Anthony players, they should be able to take them out with you. We lost another destroyer, and that will cost us dearly later, because now we're only 4. And here is actually a very important part. Where I am roughly now is a very good space, because enemy fighter squadrons are coming in and friendly fighter squadrons coming in, and they will battle it out. And the German planes are a little bit better, so if you do not do anything here, the German planes will kill off all your British fighter planes, and yeah, that's not a good thing for 2 reasons. First of all, secondary objective to kill 8 fighter squadrons. Here is your chance to take down some of them. If just enough of your destroyers are here, you can just melt them away. And second, if you keep your own fighter squadrons alive, they will help you now with the next air assault, which is already on the way, and you can see now is coming, slowly we're coming to the end game. Now is coming a lot of the planes here, and Schnellboote at the same time. So you have now combined torpedo bombers, dive bombers, and Schnellboote, and we are entering the end game here. Now I didn't use my smoke to cover the convoy, because actually maybe I'm a little bit out of position with the Cyclone here. Maybe that was not the best move. You have to try to help your fighters win the air superiority, but we didn't manage to do that because of bad positioning in the first place, and of course we're already missing 3 destroyers, and that really hurts a lot at this stage. So actually, until you see this fighter versus fighter fight in the air, no one of you should have died until then, because there's actually no reason to die, because the threats are just so low. And now is actually where it starts to become a little bit more complicated, where torpedoes are coming everywhere, where dive bombers appear out of nowhere and trying to bomb you, or actually they're also going for the convoy a lot. And this is the area where you lose a lot of civilian ships if you're not careful and if you don't have that fighter support from the RAF. The torp bombers are surrounding us now. They will attack from all sides, and the Schnellboote will continue to spawn from the northeast position. So perfectly there would be a Cyclone at the front of the convoy smoking, not where I am now, but more forward. One maybe in the middle to also give some smoke there, and also to provide air cover. Oh, look at this now. Yeah, excuses. Anyway, to provide some air cover in the middle of the convoy. And Anthony's should be all on the northeastern side to take care of the Schnellboote which spawn there. And of course now we could really use those fighters that we let die prematurely. Not today, my friend, not today. Yeah, and they will keep spawning and spawning and spawning. Here actually are spawning some to the west. Very nasty. If you know that, you can turn your guns around before. Therefore, you also need to have expert marksmen, so you're able to shift your guns from starboard to port. And also for these close drive-bys that you can actually shoot at those little tiny mosquitoes. This guy's torping. You can use the torps, but don't expect to land a lot of torpedo hits, because these things are just so small. Now we're coming to the end of the game, and have a look that our soldiers are disembarking already, and as soon as we reach the 3000 mark, this is actually where the game ends. This is where the game counts how many soldiers are left in total on all the remaining ships, and if it's more than 5000 you will have completed that secondary mission. I still try to attack them, of course, farming some XP, but currently they're not really endangering us too much. Well, I mean, it's my job to distract them, so I do. The cyclone there, which is still in the south somewhere, is completely out of position, is completely useless there. It's just a waste of firepower, not helping with the planes that were there before, not helping with the Schnellboote, just not helping at all. And as you can see, yes, they finally managed to sink me, but it doesn't help. However, we did not complete this game with 5 stars because we failed to kill enough planes in the end. We missed some fighter squadrons and we didn't kill enough torp and dive bombers. Reasons for this: too many players got killed in the beginning of the game, thus we're missing essential firepower. And of course, bad positioning. You need to know where you have to position yourself at which time so that you can shoot down maximum number of planes. Still, I made some profit out of it and also some XP. So while it's fun, it's also profitable. That was it from Undertale. I hope you had fun, enjoyed this small guide to Operation Dynamo, and I wish you good luck playing it and 5 stars.